Lucerne Grand is easily one of the most anticipated launches in the West region. If you have been reading the marketing headlines, you already know the key selling points. It is right next to Lakeside MRT station with retail shops right below, and it sits within the 1 km priority to Jurong Primary School. This is Danny Han from PropertyIntel. In this video, I'll be breaking down how the specifications facing an upcoming Jurong Lake transformation directly affect your exit potential. More importantly, I'm going to compare Lucerne Grand with other recent launches and go through investment analysis and show you the exact methodology we have used to establish a safe entry price range, and we map out a hard walkaway line. So let's dive right into it. Lucerne Grand, which is the official name, is named after the city of Lucerne in Switzerland, a beautiful, charming city by the lake, which is my #1 destination to visit one day. Anyway, this land was awarded to CDL in June last year after outbidding 5 other developers here. The land bid was at 1132 per square foot per plot ratio, which is about 10% higher than the second highest bidder. This land is acquired through the government land sales, so it is a 99-year leasehold land. There will also be commercial unit on the first floor, likely including a supermarket, F&B outlets, so it is going to be really convenient for the future owners here. And the developer is not building any 1 bedrooms in this condo. We focus on bigger unit types from 2 bed 2 bath to 4 bedroom. And it is interesting to see that over 60% of the project consists of 3 and 4 bedroom units. It is a strong signal that the developer is intentionally designing this for family-oriented living rather than a just quick investor flip. So Lucerne Grand is located right beside Lakeside MRT station, demarcated in this dark blue zoning here. And on the left hand side we have Lakefront Residences, which is a 17-story building. And on the right hand side is an empty plot of land. I will cover more on the land zoning for this plot later on. There are also 3 relatively new condos here in Lakeshore, Lake Grand and Lakeville. For schools, we have Jurong Primary School, which is quite a popular school, and Canadian International School is also fueling a lot of rental demand in this area, along with our NTU students, which is just 1 MRT stop away. So we can see here the schools within 1 km. We have 4 primary schools, and Jurong Primary School is actually within 1 km from here. And we are also just walking distance to Jurong Lake and the whole Jurong Lake district redevelopment. And right beside us is Lakefront Residences, which is built in 2014. It is a 17-story building, which will be about the same building height as Lucerne Grand, which is expected to be a 16-story building with a ground floor retail podium. And on the right side, we have an empty plot of land, so let's look at the master plan to see what is planned for the future here. It's actually zoned for residential development but has this special STDP word on it, which means subject to detailed planning. So this prompted me to check out the previous master plan in 2019, and it is interesting to see that this empty plot of land in the 2019 master plan was actually a reserved plot of land, which is a yellow, the same plot. And also Lucerne Grand plot in 2019 was just a fully residential development without any commercial on the first story. If you look at it here, it was just an orange plot. So it was only very recently updated to become a residential with a commercial on first story in 2025, and then the developer quickly bidded for this land. So yes, there will be a future housing development here, but it may not be that soon as the master plan shows STDP, but at the same time we really can't say exactly when will this view towards the lake going to be blocked. Yellow side means it's going to take a while before anything happens here, but since it has been zoned to become residential, this plot here may not sit empty for a much longer time. But the developer will still most likely price this Jurong Lake view as a premium, as currently you're going to be enjoying the unblocked view. So will you pay a premium for this view? Let me know in the poll or the comment section down below. But regardless, it will be quite convenient as there are shops below. So there will be about 10,000 square feet of commercial spaces, including supermarket, F&B outlets and retail shops right below your home. So the show flat preview is estimated on mid-September 2026, which is just a few months away, and the booking is estimated to be in end September 2026. So the whole Jurong redevelopment started in 1991, and things get more interesting in 2013 when Singapore and Malaysia announced a joint high-speed rail project linking Singapore to KL, but there was no further development here until 2021 when it was officially announced that the project will be cancelled. This makes way for future planning for Jurong Lake District, which is designed to add in 100,000 new jobs and 20,000 new homes. So JLD is planned to support the 3,000 plus MNC along with the upcoming Tuas Megaport. There are also going to be 2 new MRT lines passing through here to enhance the connectivity. The Jurong Region line will be completed in phases from mid-2028, and the cross island line from 2032. So now let's take a look at the launch pricing. So the developer got this land at 1132 per square foot per plot ratio, and I've researched into the construction cost involved using the past launches as a guide. And because this development is right next to MRT station and also is a mixed-use development, there are additional costs incurred to developer in the construction process as well. So with all this, the estimated total cost of construction plus the miscellaneous cost is going to be about 865 per square foot. And after adding this to the land price, I estimate the break-even price to be around 2000 per square foot. So if the developer were to mark up 25% from the break-even price, the estimated launch price is going to be close to 2500 per square foot. But the most recent launch, which is Tengah Garden Residences, was actually sold at average of 30% markup at 2150 per square foot. So if the same 30% markup is applied here, the estimated launch average price will be around the 2600 per square foot mark, and at a 35% markup, it will be close to 2700 per square foot mark. But I believe the developer is going to be adopting a step-up pricing, meaning they were going to give more incentive to the earlier buyer by giving discounted prices in the early preview launches. And with a 3% discount from the 30% markup, I believe the launch price for during the preview period will be at about 2510 per square foot. With 2-bedder around the 2596 per square foot average, it will land around the $1.6 million, and 3-bedder will land around $2.25 million, and the 4-bedders will land around the $2.95 million. So what do you think of this pricing? Let me know in the comment section down below. So now we're going to do investment and comparative analysis. So now let's compare Lucerne Grand to the closest peers in the western region. Sora and the Lake Garden Residences are the two closest developments to this site. On a raw comparison, Lucerne Grand's estimated entry price is highly competitive. It tracks almost neck to neck with Sora and sits at just a minor 6% premium over the Lake Garden. And also to note, because Sora and Lake Gardens are pre-harmonized projects, we have already mathematically adjusted the per square foot baselines here to ensure a true apple-to-apple comparison. Historically, Singapore property buyers are fully prepared to pay about 10 to 15% premium for a direct MRT proximity and integrated retail shops below. So at just a 7% price gap, Lucerne Grand can be considered a better buy than these two. Anyway, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is a significant price gap when we compare Lucerne Grand to Tengah Garden Residences price. Both are mixed-use development with MRT and shops right below. But at a $400 per square foot price difference, we are talking about a significant 400k premium to enter Lucerne Grand for a standard 3-bedroom unit, assuming about 1000 square feet. Tengah Garden is undeniably an attractive development, so much so that all the units were taken on the first day, leaving with just 4 to 5 balanced units. But then here's a critical strategic difference. Tengah Garden buyers are paying a lower price because they are taking on a first mover friction. They are buying into a brand new unproven estate that will face heavy construction and noise and dust for many years to come. Lucerne Grand, on the other hand, commands a premium because it sits in an established, highly mature enclave. You will get immediate lifestyle amenities, a beautiful lakeside view right beside you, and you're positioned perfectly to catch the massive wave of the upcoming Jurong Lake District transformation. So now let's compare Lucerne Grand to other mixed-use developments across Singapore. Another recent launch with similar attribute was Binary Residences in the Tampines East. It was launched earlier this year in March, and it was fully sold at an average per square foot of about 2546. So both are in the mature estate, so I believe there will also be a very strong demand for Lucerne Grand. So although the prices here are on a slight premium, it also comes with a competitive advantage over the neighbour. So we have MRT station right beside, supermarket and shops below, and Rulang Primary School, which is quite a popular school within 1 km, and CDL is also a very popular developer among the buyers in Singapore. So now let's compare Lucerne Grand to the resale developments in the area. So we can see that Lake Grand TOP about in 2020, the prices are here. So 2-bedder about 1.38, 3-bedder 1.72, 4-bedder 2.32, and if we compare the price difference between Lucerne Grand to Lake Grand, we can see for 2-bedroom the price gap is a lot narrower, about 13%. For 3 and 4-bedder is about 20%. So a healthy price gap between new launch and resale is actually about 20%. So at a 13% for 2-bedder, I believe Lucerne Grand's 2-bedders are going to be quite popular. And now we're going to look at some resale properties within a 400 meter radius to see what is the price growth rate over the past few years. So here we are looking at the Lakefront Residences and Lake Grand. So in about 6 years, the prices grow by about 50%. So when we are going to calculate the cumulative annual growth rate or CAGR, so the CAGR is about 7% per annum growth rate in this area. which is pretty strong. Now we're going to look at rental rates. So these are the condos within the 400-meter radius. Maybe not all of them, but most of them are. So you can see the 1 bedrooms. Okay, we don't have 1 bedrooms in Lucerne Grand, so we're going to skip 1 bedrooms. But you can see the 2 bedrooms are from the 4,004 range, 3 bedroom about 5,003 range, 4 bedrooms about 6,005. So it's actually very healthy, and the take-up rate is also pretty fast. So I'm actually doing a lot of rentals in this area as well, and a lot of the rental demand are actually coming from the NTU side and also from the Canadian International School, along with the professional workforce in the Jurong East and also from the Tuas side. So with all these figures, we can actually get the rental yield range to be about 3.5 to 5%, which is actually pretty high. So now let's dive into the full investment suite. So I have spent the last few days researching deeply into Lucerne Grand using my 16 points PropertyIntel framework, benchmarking Lucerne Grand to the new launch prices in the area, and also to the average resale pricing, and also to the regional pricing. So all this is done to find a price cap, which I believe is one of the most important factors to determine whether a property is under or overvalued. So afterwards, I benchmark it against other key parameters like rentability to see the cash flow, and also to the product layout and views, location, and exit strategy. So after which we'll get a PropertyIntel score, which I can use to compare against other properties. So based on these data, I have mapped out a very specific safe entry price range for the 2, 3 and 4 bedroom layouts here, meaning the exact per square foot and quantum tier where you are safely backed by historical support. More importantly, we have established a very strict walkaway prices. If the developer prices are beyond this threshold, then your entry becomes riskier. So my framework is built to spot these key safe entry and walkaway prices and to pivot instantly to better opportunities. So all of these are reserved for my one-to-one consultation clients, and if you're working with me, I won't be pushing for sale, but rather advising you not to buy when the prices cross over into the red zone in case the developer increases the price midway through the booking day. And I will also look into the resale market to see if there are more suitable properties out there for you. But looking into the resale market is more complicated as there are more variables to consider. For example, a 99-year leasehold development may appear cheaper, but how do we actually compare it smartly? So in this case, a Mandarin Garden, which is a 99-year leasehold development, about 55 years lease remaining, TOP in 1986. So if you want to compare this to, let's say, Fernwood Towers, which is a freehold development, TOP in 1994, we have to actually look at the depreciation rate for the Mandarin Garden. So for this, I've actually built a property valuation matrix using the URA's Bala table curve to account for the depreciation rate. We can see that the adjusted per square foot for the Mandarin Garden, if it were a freehold using the depreciation rate from the Bala's table, and I get 77.3% of the freehold value here. So the effective per square foot of Mandarin Garden is actually just about the same as Fernwood Towers, which may not be so obvious because the number we see on the online advertisement is actually not accounting for the lease decay. So if you look at the example here, for Mandarin Garden, the per square foot is actually just 1647. So you could be making a huge mistake if you rush into Mandarin Garden thinking it's a lot cheaper than Fernwood Towers. And also not forgetting the lease decay is exponential, meaning as the lease remaining becomes shorter, the rate of lease decay becomes faster and faster, and you lose value much quicker. So if you're strictly scanning the market for a new launch, you have probably noticed how overwhelming the options are right now. So what we do at PropertyIntel is to look at the entire landscape, both the existing inventory and the upcoming launches, both this and next year. So the goal here isn't just to show you what is out there, but to filter out the overpriced units and to pinpoint the exact entry points that carry the lowest risk and the highest upside for your budget. So if there are any projects you want me to research on, just let me know in the comment section down below. So just to take note, these are the land prices which we already know from the news is in per square foot per plot ratio. So from these land prices, we can actually work out the estimated future launch pricing. So from this, we can actually inform our clients to make a more informed decision whether or not to enter into a current project or to wait out for the future project. So this concludes our data-backed research on Lucerne Grand. Lucerne Grand is expected to launch in mid-September, but the biggest mistake you can make is waiting until the show flats open to figure out your strategy. By then, the crowd and the hype take over, and it is easy to make an emotional decision that you might regret later on. If you are seriously looking to make a property move this year, let's look at your numbers together. You can book a private one-to-one session with me using the link below. It is completely objective, confidential, and there is zero obligation. We will work out your exact budget, your timeline, and what you actually want to achieve straight into your property model. If the math doesn't make sense for your future, we don't buy. Period. This way, when you finally step into the show flat, you aren't guessing. You'll walk in with total clarity, knowing exactly what you're looking for. Tap on the link below to secure a session. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our private briefing.